All right, class. So I'm gonna show you how I did the "Am I Talking to Myself" project. This is perfect project for quarantine time because it kind of lets me see how you guys are living in this quarantine era. But the way that I did this is I picked a spot in my house. If you're able to go outside, you can do it outside. I used a tripod, like just a little camera tripod, and I set it up. But it doesn't have to be a camera tripod. You could just rest it up against something. And essentially, you want to make sure that you're framing the picture with your camera, and then you stay within that frame throughout the whole thing. So I took a bunch of pictures. I'm gonna open my photos here and choose which pictures I want. So I took a bunch. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 photos, but it looks like I'm only going to be able to use about 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because these two right here, it was a good idea at the beginning when I took them, but they're going to cover the whole scene, so I can't really use those. Maybe I could use one of these background shots. So I'm gonna open up these 4 and open them into my Photoshop. So I'm edit with Adobe Photoshop. Um, and so I'm opening them up as separate files. You could open one file and place them in if you wanted to, but I just have 4 photos right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Arrange under Window. I'm going to go up to 4 up because I know I have only 4 photos, right? So there's my 4 photos. And I'm going to work on each of these separately. Oops. So I'm going to work on each of these separately. So first thing that I'm going to do in this one is I think I'm going to use this one as my base, this big one, because I'm coming in from the side. So I'm going to drag these other ones on top of that. So I'm using my move tool. I click on the one that I want. I unlock it. And then I'm just going to drag it over to this one and let it go. And it should probably snap in place. If it's not snapping in place, it means you have a view and snap is not on. So you can turn on snap if you like. And then so this one I don't need anymore, so I can just close it. Right, so I'm gonna do this one now. So I'm gonna unlock it, drag it over, and let it go. I can close this one. And I click on this one, unlock it, and drag it on up. And now I can close this one. So I'm back to my 4 photos, and now I'm just gonna line them up. They should all be the same size because you didn't move the camera at all when you made them. So I'm just dragging them right back to where they need to go. And my last one again is my base one. I don't need to do anything to that. So I have 4 photos now. I'm gonna start on the top one. So the quick way that I envision doing this, and make sure when you're taking photos, so I have a lot of light right here on the right hand side, right here. Make sure that you're blocking all that ambient light because it'll change your, I'm gonna have to probably go back and adjust my brightness on each of these photos because that's affecting the camera while I'm back here and I'm in the shadows. So anyway, I'm gonna go to select, I'm gonna click subject, and see if it can select the subject, and it does a pretty good job. I just need to figure out where it is. So then I hit the mask button down here. I'm gonna go to the next one, go select subject. All right, so that's that one, and you can obviously see it's not getting my whole person there, but that's about all I needed. I'm gonna go to this one, select subject. Let's see what it does. So this one I wasn't able to find, which is fine because I have 2 things that I want on this one. So I want this and I want me over here. So I'm holding shift as I drag a box over 2 areas. So I dragged one over here and then I held down shift and dragged another rectangle around that one. I'm gonna click mask. All right. And then now I'm just gonna go back and clean these up. So I'm gonna first start with this box one because it's a little bit, it doesn't look that great. So using my paintbrush, make my brush smaller. I'm gonna paint on my mask in black so that I can get rid of everything that I don't need. So I'm just painting around my figure. All right. You can zoom in. I obviously needed to zoom in. Depending on how good your camera is or how far away your scene was set, you can zoom in pretty close. So I'm just getting rid of all the background, because the background should be the same for everything aside from you moving around. So if you need to flip the colors, X allows you to flip. So I'm gonna paint my hat back in, and then I'm gonna flip my color X again so I can paint out area that I don't want around my hat. All right, and I'm just gonna keep going doing this, filling in what I do need and what I don't need. But again, the background should be the same, because you're not moving the camera. You're only moving you. So mine looks a little bit different just because like I said, that I have to go back and adjust the colors on these. So for this one, I gotta make sure I find where this guy's gonna be going. So my base one. So I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna say select subject and get my big one that's closest to the camera, because I need this shoulder right here and this shoulder right here. I need to make sure that I'm painting that out. So now that I know where it is, I just switch layers back to layer one. I'm just gonna paint that out, and it allows me to keep it all nice and contained while I paint. Right? So deselect that, Control D, or go to select, deselect, right there. And I'm just gonna paint out these last few spots on here. And you can already see it's almost done. So I'm gonna go back into these, click on my adjustments, go to brightness, and let's adjust them. So I want to make sure I click on this button to only adjust what's underneath. So what I'm looking for is to get the red of the background about the same, so probably right there. You can also adjust the contrast on that if you want it to be a little bit more rich, or if it's too rich you can take it back. Alright, so I'm going to go to the next one. Fight feeding, click on adjustments, brightness, click on just the layer underneath. So I'm just adjusting the layer underneath. Get rid of that, make this a little bit brighter so it matches the sunlight. And click on the last one, couch TV, adjustments, brightness, and I'm gonna adjust mine. And again, remember, yours might be different. The basic premise that you should be working around is that you want to make sure that you're getting all the people into the picture. So remember what it was select subject, and then once you have the mask, you just paint on the mask with your paintbrush and get rid of what you don't want. That is the project. So I'm going to save this file, save an original one. This one's going to call Multiplicity. Composition. All right. And I'm going to save it to somewhere where I can remember it. So my documents folder, click save. And then I'm going to save another one. So another one's going to go as a JPEG. So save as JPEG. And I'm going to use this one inside my critique sheet. So click save, Multiplicity's JPEG save.